There are two types of train bots going around, and there's like a war between the fans of them. There shouldn't be. Like whatever you like. I don't care. I personally don't like the Moon Studios one. The combined mode is great, but too big for me, and I think the individual robots don't look as nice. That and I saw one fall to bits, but whatever. And that's fine. If you like them, good for you. I'm happy you do. But I don't, and that's why I'm going for this set over that one. I got flamed for not liking the Moon Studios one from quite a few people, and like, bruh. This is a community about toys. I'm sorry I don't like the one you do, but it's okay. They're toys and we're adults. It's our hobby. Enjoy it. Enjoy whatever aspect of it you like, but don't flame other people for not liking the part you do. So MPG-2 has come out and it's all right. So here's the thing. I like Shuki and I still do. He's not perfect by any means, but I still like him. This one, bit of a mixed bag. The train is amazing, just like the last time. It's an HO scale thing again, and it looks fantastic. I love all the detail and paintwork. My dad was really impressed too by this because he's the model train guy of the house, so he thought this was amazing. I love the little numbers stamped on the front and the rivets and mechanical detail. It's great. He also does come with a bit of track, but it's a different size than Shuki's because of the wheelbase of the train in real life, I believe. It is annoying though, because while they do link up, you can't drag them across the same track. You kind of can, but you can't drag Shuki onto his because it doesn't fit. He also comes with a stand adapter that I have no use for, so I leave it in the box. The wheels this time do turn, kinda. So they turn a bit, and just for the transformation, so it's not intentional, nor can you do anything with it. But it's there, I guess. If you want to display it, you can do that. Once you store the gun, though, you can't turn the wheels because it locks it all into place. I think this is a better train than Shuki. However, you can hit someone easier with Shuki, so 0 out of 10. So this part here is why I wanted to start in train mode. The instructions are a bit poo. They come with a correction as well to fix something in the instructions, but that's also kind of poo. It took me a bit to figure out the whole thing, so I'm going to just point out some of the bits I struggled with at first so that you don't make the same mistakes I did.
So I'm not going to walk you through the entirety of the train, like I'll show it, but I'm not going to walk you through every step because the instructions are pretty much fine. I mean, the amendment does kind of help a bit, but there is a couple of sections with the legs and the arms that don't really make much sense in the instructions because you just can't see clearly. So I'm going to point those out. Now, one thing that does bug me is these have to come off and they don't go anywhere else. Come on, I'm okay with parts forming so long as the piece has something else to do. These go nowhere. They're die cast though, so that's nice. Anyways, train. So the gun stores in there, take that out. Now, clear plastic wise, these are the only full clear plastic parts on this figure. Every other little like window you see or whatever is an insert into the actual plastic, which is nice because that means all the hinges are not on clear material except for these. Don't know why, but they are. Oh well. So you split that. This is where the problems kind of start. What I recommend is coming over here to the combine mode ankle guard and flipping it up because that untabs these sections here and it makes it a lot easier to split them. Then you want to take these and slide them out all the way like so. I find it best to grab them from here and pull and then pull because I was trying for like 20 minutes to try and get these out when I first got it and I just couldn't. It's really difficult to light this because the blue reflects light in such weird ways. So the next step is separating all of this and all of this. And this is where the biggest issue was. This is where I struggled for literally half an hour trying to figure out how to get these tabs out until I figured it out. Now it's easy, but you simply, the instructions don't tell you to split the combined joint as well, but I just would recommend it. It makes it a lot easier. Split the tracks at the back, maybe slide them up a little bit so they're not as close together and don't start tabbing together randomly. Then you want to just sort of split this section here. Now the tabs inside there, the ones on that black panel on the inside, you can see that little like seam there. Those are the ones that get stuck and they're really secure. They hold the train mode together, they do their job, but they are very annoying. Which is why you want to split the legs, because if you don't, this becomes a bit of a hassle. And with the legs split, you can kind of get your thumb in there and push. And when you push, that pushes this side out, because this side has one tab as opposed to, well, the one tab in the middle and one on the top, which is easier to push out than the other one, I find. But that's how you split the legs. And it just works every time for me versus the way that they do it in instructions, which just doesn't work. I'm just gonna rotate that around like so. You want it facing the outside of the leg like that when you slide it up. That keeps the wheels on the farthest they can go that way, so you can clear this section here and close it up. Otherwise, it would get in the way and you wouldn't be able to fold that up.
Robot from the front looks amazing. I really dig all the details that are still on show and the toy style look it has. It's just, yeah, it looks a lot like the G1 toy over the animation style. That's really apparent with the back, because in the animation model, it's plain, like the Moon Studios one mimics, whereas the toy had the train front on the back of it, and MPG tried to emulate that. I don't have the G1 back, it didn't get mine, but it's supposed to be there. Also, the way the chest sticks out and how the arms look, it just feels a lot more like the toy over the animation model. So I look at each version like that. Moon Studios is more animation, whereas this is more toy. If you don't like the train sticking out of the back there, you can fold it away, so that's nice. I like that option, and I do often fold it away. There's a lot of train hanging off the legs though. In certain angles, it looks all right, but in others it looks like pain. It doesn't get in the way of the knee articulation, it just looks weird, and it makes handling him a little bit awkward. The chest does not look as big as it does in the stock images in person, because they forgot to push the pelvis forward, so in hand it looks a lot better. I love how the torso curves with the hinges in the panel, but I wish there was an option to flatten it more like the G1 toy. He can hold his gun and look epic with that, or you can store it in the back of the toy. However, the parts that we remove from train mode have nowhere to go, and that really does bother me. Next is Shuki. They both look like they belong together, which gives me high hopes for how the rest of the team in robot mode is going to look, because that's how I'm displaying them. I'm lining up all the robots like that because I don't have space for a big Masterpiece Combiner. I want them to all look crisp together, and so far these two look outstanding together, so I'm very happy with that. He feels hefty too, not as hefty as Shuki, but pretty heavy for his size.
So yeah, he's quite like hefty, and he's planted, which I'm happy about because I wasn't sure how this was going to work. Anyways, articulation on this guy is quite good in a lot of areas and not so great in some areas. Also, he's not this dark blue in real life. So you got a ball joint at the head, which is fine. It's a little hindered because of the way these hinges, focus idiot, the way these hinges are designed there. They kind of get in the way of the chin, so you got to move his head up a little bit to turn it. It's not horrible, it's just a little annoying. You have rotation at the shoulders. Shoulder moves out at one joint and then out at a second joint. So you got double jointed shoulders there. These can move out of the way and rotate to get out of the way for any sort of posing. So the bicep swivel is not hindered. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, wrist rotation, hands can open and close. This is a problem I will get to in a minute. Because of transformation though, he does fall over. He does have butterfly joints, backwards butterfly joints, but he still has butterfly joints, and they actually do come in handy quite a bit. So that's really nice to see. You have a waist joint that's also a little hindered by the side skirts hitting the chest flap. You can unpeg this and move it forward to get it out of the way for certain poses, but then he looks like he's giving birth. So it's a bit weird, but yeah, like I said, you can flatten out the chest panel if you want to. Hip skirts move out of the way to accommodate the legs that go forward that far on a nice ratchet. They go out about that far. You have a thigh swivel, ratcheted knee bend, and then you have an ankle tilt and a toe bend that goes forward and back. However, these little wheelie bits here like to come out every now and again. And that does get, especially this side, that does get a little annoying. And this hip on mine's a little loose. I just need to put some polish in there. That's no big deal. Oh, and then you can bend this down. But yeah, he's all right.
So, leg time. Transformation I'm going to save for the combined mode video at the end of, well, next year technically. But you get this. A leg that's a bit strange. So it looks all right, if a bit wonky. I like how there are panels to cover all the weird gaps, but the back of the leg is where I have issues. There had to have been a better way to do this portion. The wheels are loosely hanging out there, and the panels on the back have like nowhere to go, so it's kind of annoying. It just kind of sticks out. I'm not going to spend too much time on this, as the combiner needs to be complete for me to accurately judge whether or not these limbs are good, but I want to clear up some articulation woes people had with this guy upon first images.
So when the images of this were first revealed, I know a lot of people had issue with how was this going to articulate, because we literally just saw this, and that was it. And the prototype we saw at the Takara Wonder, whatever it was, that little like expo that they just did, it's very different because it's a prototype. So it's not the final copy. So there's a lot of like, these are different. This is different. This whole thing is different. So that's not a very accurate way to judge how this thing's going to pose, but it got the articulation down pretty well. You do have an ankle tilt about that far, which is all you really need for a combiner, because most of the time people display their combiners standing straight up. Most of the time, not all the time. But you get an ankle tilt, and then you can move this out of the way and you get forward and back. Not a lot, but you get a little bit, enough for it to be usable, which I do quite like, and it's a pretty strong joint. Like, you can hear it being strong. Like it's a pretty strong joint. It's not too strong that you're gonna feel like you're gonna break it, but strong enough I think that it'll be able to hold the whole combiner up. Now, the knee. So I'm gonna just actually raise this up here so we can take a better look at the knee. This is where a lot of people had issue with. How the hell does this work? And we still don't know. Kane doesn't come out till, or I think that's his name. Kane doesn't come out till like, he's the last one, I believe, from what Takara showed of their lineup. So, or he's one of the last at least. So we're not going to get him till the end of next year. So we're not going to accurately know until Takara shows us how the leg assembly is going to work. This looks like a connector because it's orange, and I honestly don't know why they painted it orange, but it's orange. So that looks like it's going to slot into something. These look like they're going to tab into something because that looks suspiciously like a tab. So we'll see. But a knee bend. That's it. This could very well not be the knee. It's just an attachment, and the knee is like a block above it. But, yeah. However, I noticed something yesterday when I was planning out my shots for this video. The thing is blocked by these, which are the sliding joints for this. So if you just push them out, right? And you can keep them tabbed in. They stay tabbed in. And that actually looks a little bit more dynamic to me, honestly. But you move those out of the way, you then have the option to then spread these. And then this is on a ratchet. That's a bend at the knee right there, if that is indeed the knee. I'm happy. I was very worried, but at least, you know, you can hear it. It's ratcheted, it's stiff, it's good, it's there, yay. Again, this could all be blocked by something. I don't know, but at least it has a working knee-ish. Again, you have to move all this fiddly stuff out of the way, and I don't like that, but there you go. He bends at the knee. So now you can get him into some super epic sort of poses as a foot, and he actually looks like he's being used as a foot. So that's good. It's a lot less derpy looking than I originally thought, now that I know he can do that.
So, worth it? Kinda. I mean, if you're going in on this set, then obviously you need it. I mean, you can't complete the combiner without it. But if you are still weary, I don't know. If you can get it on sale, then yes, sure. I got this for $90 on Hobby Genki, not sponsored. And I think it's well worth the $90 price. But full price, Robot and Train are pretty good. Transformation's a bit fiddly, and combine mode, I can't quite judge yet. Right now, it's a pretty decent package. It might be better once the entire combine mode comes out, but as of right now, I'm just holding it in pretty decent. But that's my look at MPG-2 Shuki. Follow me on Shuki. I'm an idiot. Getsui. There we go. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.